Your brilliance this afternoon. What is a lifeline technique? How can that help your health? How did today's guest recover from a horrible accident by using this? Is this something you can use on pets? We're going to talk about that and much, much more today. So, in today's Reawaken You, today someone said to me, I know what's best for you. They had wanted me to purchase some vitamins through their program, and I said, "Thank you very much, but I've done some research. I'm happy with my product." And they came back and said, "Well, I've done all the research, and our products are the best. So when you're ready, give me a holler." Now, I just want you to remind yourself that you know what's best for you. All the knowledge that you have is inside of you. And while there are people that are there to assist and help you, always listen to your inner knowledge. It's there for a reason. And a lot of times people try to throw us off. Maybe it's because they need a sale, they want to be in control or power, but you have the wisdom from within. So this week, just pay attention. Are you standing in your own truth and owning that? Are people picking at you, trying to get you to let that go? So just trust your instincts and go with that. All right, we're going to tell you about this afternoon's guest. Dr. Nimarta has always been fascinated with health and fitness, given that her mother was a keen advocate of natural health care and organic living. Hence her passion for the health and environment, leading to the inspired decision to become a doctor of chiropractic. Dr. Paul graduated from the Anglo-European College of Chiropractic in 2002. She believes that good health depends upon your spine and nervous system functioning at their best. Postgraduate training includes craniosacral therapy, homeopathy, applied kinesiology, neuroemotional technique, neurolinguistic programming, chiropractic pediatrics, natural healing, and intensive holistic training in Ayurveda, shamanism, reconnection and energy medicine. Welcome, Dr. Paul.
Thank you. Hello, and thank you for welcoming me on your show.
We're excited to have you. So let's get started. First of all, tell people a little bit about your accident, what you were going through. I mean, that was a really horrific thing that led you to the Lifeline. So tell us about that.
Yes, it was a road traffic accident on the motorway, and it was quite a bit of a shock. I was just stationary, just singing to music, as you saw me earlier, and unfortunately, all I felt was a thud, and I saw the car in front of me look at me, and when I looked behind, they were looking behind as well. And then the drivers came out of the car, so it involved three cars, and they wouldn't let me out of the car. I think they could see that I was in shock. They called the police and the ambulance, who checked me over. Unfortunately, it just culminated a whole load of symptoms, which were, something as a chiropractor was difficult to take on board, but I took it on anyway. The symptoms were quite excruciating, and unfortunately they became worse and worse. I had a variety of natural care and physiotherapy care as well for the symptoms. I had headaches that literally started an hour after the accident, but unfortunately they got worse. I had a plethora of weird electric sensations that were going up and down my body. I took the natural route of healing because as being a chiropractor, that's my natural way. Unfortunately, I did take the medical route, but painkillers were just not functioning. They weren't helping me at all. But unfortunately, my symptoms did get worse, and I recognised, and so mine in December 2006, I had to go to hospital. So I went to the hospital, and medical staff were assisting me. I collapsed, which was unknown, which really surprised me. And then the next thing, they were assisting me, and then the next thing I knew was the lights went out.
So were you in a coma?
I woke up a week later in the best neurological hospital in London. So I got the name of the hospital wrong, I got the date wrong, surrounded by family, and the whole of my left side was paralyzed. I could not move. I could not feel the left side of my body.
And then I can't even imagine. That's horrific, waking up and being
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I can't move. I can't even comprehend what that would be like. But so you're in this state. Was it there that did someone say to you, hey, I've tried this lifeline technique, or were you doing
No.
research? How'd you hear about it?
Well, the lifeline technique, well, I knew in my heart, I mean, I had the professor do all the tests on me, and I knew those tests. So that was like, oh my gosh, I know these neurological tests. So my left side of my body was just not functioning. So I was like, so I went to sleep, and then I woke up out of intensive care. But when I woke up, I knew in my heart, because I'd been doing a lot of self-development seminars and so forth as a chiropractor even before, because my passion is health and fitness. And I knew in my heart, I was like, you don't need any gurus, any books, any meditation classes or anything. You know in your heart what to do. And I knew it instantly then, just with my own, and that with love and gratitude, even before the Lifeline technique came into my life, what to do.
But
And I did
hold
that.
up, I want you to talk about that for a second because I
Hmm.
think that is so important.
Yeah.
First of all, well, talk about love and gratitude and
Mhm.
how that helped you to take that first step. Because even if you're paralyzed, you
Yeah.
still had your mind and could experience love and gratitude. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I was. Have you heard of Dr. Masumuro Emoto? He did all the crystal work, so that fascinated me. And I did my. I always like to experiment and do my own and integrate it into my own life. So I was experimenting with water, with plants, and so forth. So, and I was doing a lot of meditation, and a lot of meditation and healing was helping me while I did have my symptoms after the accident. But it did come to a point I felt that I knew I was being protected, and there were um, certain energies that were guiding me and helping me, but I knew at the end that I had to go to the hospital. So I knew about love and gratitude. And I mean, I said to my father and my family, I just put them on the water bottles, put them on the food, everything. And they just did everything for me because obviously their love was to, get me back to full health and fitness. And my focus was complete health.
And so
Complete health,
that's
because I knew when I went to the interview at the chiropractic college, in every cell of my body, and the heaven opened its doors. You're going to do this. So even though the accident had happened and I had all the symptoms, I woke up, I thought, well, obviously you've had a little chat and you've come back. And there's a purpose for this. There is definitely a purpose in my career, my purpose in my life as a woman, as a practitioner, as a healer on this planet for humanity.
so I want you to talk back up for another second and expand a
Hmm.
little bit too, because you talked about how you'd reached that point. You said, you know what, I'm into organic living, healthy living, holistic living, but I need to get my butt to the hospital because I think sometimes
Yeah,
people, oh, well, I failed. I have a friend that gets like that. Well, if I don't do it holistically, but
sure.
there's a balance there. So talk a little bit
Of
about
course,
that.
there is. I had a lot of healing sessions with various friends who I trusted implicitly, who were very in tune consciously what was going on and guiding me, and we guided everyone. And obviously, I did have signs, and there were guidance there that was saying a week before you may have to go into hospital. And I knew in my heart that we have energy and healing systems that we can heal instantaneously. I just know it. I just know we can heal anything. And I was just determined that this was going to happen. But I surrendered and accepted, okay, because a dear friend of mine said, because they were all meditating together, and they said, they're guiding to say you need to go. And I was like, okay, I understand. And I knew, because as a doctor, I understood that I had certain red flags that just were not good. And I knew, objectively, I was like, okay, Nim, you need to go to the hospital. And it was amazing because within 30 seconds, the ambulance was there.
Right.
It was like it was all waiting. It seriously was. That in itself was amazing. I did have a few messages as well, intuitively and in my visions as well. And there were discussions as to my own contract, what I wanted to do. And I knew that energy, and it's a beautiful energy. I saw the light, and the third time I said no. I just said no.
That's fantastic. So then you were in chiropractic school, and then is that how you found the lifeline technique?
No, I found it after the accident. I was rehabilitating at home, and I found it on the internet. It was developed by a chiropractor in the States, Dr. Darren Wiseman, The Infinite Power of Love and Gratitude. He wrote the book, So I read the book, and I just knew. I pick up things and I know. It's like I'm always guided. Everything I do, you go to chiropractic school, you do the kinesiology, the craniosacral. I'm always guided to the eminent, topmost healers, doctors, homeopathics, whatever. And I use them on myself. I integrate them in my life, and if they work, which they most of the time do, then I help and guide my clients, my family, my friends,
So
anyone
then,
who's open and willing.
so then tell me, because I know nothing about the lifeline technique. So what does that
Okay.
involve?
Okay, the lifeline technique involves 14 different modalities, and it doesn't have to be content free. It's a fusion of science and philosophy and quantum technology. And what it helps to do is harmonize the bridging the gap and harmonizing the subconscious mind with the conscious mind.
So that
Hello?
might be, so are you, we still have you, are you there?
Okay, yep, I'm just
So
about.
let's give an example between subconscious and conscious. I might say, "Oh, I want to be in perfect health. I
Yeah,
am in perfect health." But my mind, my subconscious may be saying, "Yeah, you know what? You need some more sleep. You're stressed out about this. You don't
of
think perfect
course.
health is
Yeah.
possible." Is that a good example?
It is, yes, it's a great example because really it's at the root of every symptom and disease and stress, there's a subconscious emotional reactive pattern. And when that gets activated or triggered, it causes both behavioral stressors and symptoms. But rather than subjectifying that something is wrong with you, yeah, and that's what whole society does, symptom, stress, and disease are really conversations that your body and your life and your relationships are having with you. So you can start awakening up to your true, authentic, nature to make constructive, thriving changes in your physical health, in your mental health, in your spiritual health, and in your relationships. So you can start thriving.
So you, when you're doing this lifeline technique, do you
Mhm.
take a survey? Do you have people? Do you do muscle testing? How, like if someone came to you and say, "Okay, I just saw this interview. It
Yes.
sounds like it helped me." What would you do with them?
Well, the way I communicate with the subconscious mind, because that's all about emotions, is I use muscle reflex testing, muscle testing. And that's a very fast, non invasive, laser like mechanism which can be used to assess the imbalance between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind.
So do you mean this? I've done muscle testing where I stick my hand out and someone
Hmm.
asks me a question. Is that what
Sure.
you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah. And I use that throughout all of the work that I do as and when I need
So
to with my
can you
clients.
give me an example, maybe if you're someone comes up and says, "Oh, I don't know, I'm not sleeping." I mean, what kind of things would you ask them to kind of discover what the underlying issues are?
Okay, well, I would do a full questionnaire to find out what their own lifestyle is like. How are they, where are they, where they got their symptoms, if they've got any physical symptoms, what emotional stresses are happening in their life, in their relationships, at work, home, and so forth, and then guide them through. Then I would guide them to find the cause of those subconscious emotional reactive patterns. Yeah. So it's all about emotions at the end of the day. And
Okay.
it's really simple. For me, it's simple. The more clear we are about our emotions and how we connect with them and how we feel, because in society we're told to resist emotions, especially because all emotions are good. There are no bad emotions. Society says that basic emotions like anger, hopelessness, depression, frustration are bad. So people are told to resist them. But if we don't allow to feel them in a compassionate, safe environment, we need to harmonize them because they're really just protecting us from incidents and events and traumas that happened. Emotions are memories and programs that happen from from conception to puberty, and we need to harmonize that. It's like peeling the layers of the onion so that we can start really, you know, enjoying life and having healthy relationships and a healthy life. And to this day, I integrated the lifeline technique as well as other things. My symptoms, I have no symptoms.
Which is phenomenal considering, I mean, you went through a major,
A thought is amazing. And it's not just a thought, it's with the heart.
I want
It's just simply with the heart.
I want I want to talk about the heart in a minute, but I want to pick up on something you said because
Mm-hmm.
one thing that you talked about layers, which I think is so important. But I had a lot of anger for a lot of time, for a long
Yeah,
time,
sure.
and one I had to first acknowledge and express the anger because I had suppressed everything. But what I found that surprised me underneath the anger was sadness.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
wasn't expecting that. And so for me, that was a great discovery tool. And then again, that was another layer to
hmm,
release. But those initial emotions might not really be what's going on until you dig a
sure.
little deeper.
Of course, yes. And with the lifeline technique, there are many techniques which I can guide people so I can find the true emotions without me imposing on them, but so that they feel safe, so they can get to the root, so we can get to those root emotions. And that's why emotional clarity is so important because I do tell a lot of my clients find out what true anger is. Anger can be negative as well as positive. Depression can be positive and negative, but don't judge it. You know, the subconscious mind just only does, it doesn't judge. It never judges. Pushes the blood around the heart. It pushes the blood all over the body, but also it protects you, protects the environment that you were in from conception to puberty, so that you can start to learn later on in life and grow and evolve and participate. It's the gift. It's just a gift. Every symptom, stress, and disease is a gift in strange wrapping
I
paper.
think that's an outstanding way to look at it. I mean, think about
Yeah.
that just from that simple shift of thinking, okay, this is a gift, because you had mentioned earlier about um, you're like, okay, there's a reason this accident happened, whatever it is. I'm going to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
okay, there's something great to learn from it.
Yes, it is. Definitely. Oh, yes, I have to say, with my hand on my heart, they did a recent article on me here in the local paper, and I realize now that it gives people hope to that it is possible to heal. Yeah. And the medical paradigm definitely has its place. It was there for me. I believe in the power that these strangers, doctors and nurses, they didn't know me, but their essence and their heart is they wanted to save this person. They wanted to save me. I'm a human being. And that's the most powerful prayer and love that can, help someone to, because that's, it just helps you. It just helps the incredible reality of bringing someone back. But it's not, it's just the power of it. And that power is simple. It's love.
Hmm.
And hence infinite love and gratitude, which is part of the lifeline. That's the healing frequency we use throughout. We use affirmations, declarative statements, we observe, we use intentions to activate the subconscious mind so it works for you rather than against you.
So then let me ask you a question. So someone comes in, you're like, okay, we've here in this one aspect, your issue is related to anger, fear, whatever. Then how do you help them? Do you use all those techniques to help release them, or do you actually do physical body work as well, or is it all just this energy frequency of love and gratitude?
I actually tune into the patient. I treat every patient individually. So I tune in immediately as to what they need. Most of them do love body work. Some of them are quite happy to just have the lifeline, and that's fine. I have quite a lot of teenagers, but they find it phenomenal because it's helping them to study, focus, and it's helping them in their relationships. It's helping them to socialize. So I individually tune no, because there's different aspects of the technique, which when you learn it, obviously you need to know it thoroughly. But then I tune in, and when I know that someone needs certain aspects of it, that increases the energy, so it harmonizes for them. So I can do within 20 minutes or 45 minutes, but I just go with it. But I don't leave until I know that person is really happy.
Okay, but so then are you doing something hands-on, what I would call energy healing, or you maybe moving
Yes, yes.
something like, okay.
What we use with the lifeline, the harmonizing technique is the hand mudra. So if we put your hand up like that and we put those fingers down, that's the American Sign Language and the British Sign Language for "I love you." Yeah. So a lifeline technique, we call it universal. We call it the infinite love and gratitude. So I use that And infinite is no beginning, no end. Love is what propels us to, overcome challenges in life. And gratitude is what propels us to forgive and move on in life, yeah? With love. So it's infinite love and gratitude.
Okay, fantastic. So then you just kind of do energy healing, but I want to talk a moment since you brought it up about forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
because I would not, until you said this, and this is why I want to talk about it more, talk about forgiveness or how gratitude helps us forgive.
Okay, gratitude uh, is really, I say it simply because I noticed when I did a couple of years ago, people are really having difficulty with the word infinite love and gratitude. And I broke it down simply to say it's just saying thank you. Thank you, body, for all you've done. I know you've done your best. And thank you to the client. Thank you, Dr. Nimarta. You've done your best. Step by step, baby steps, yeah? And that's all it is. It's saying thank you from the heart. Thank you. It's really quite simple.
It really is, I think, but we try to complicate
It is, it
everything.
is. It's so simple. And all I ask sometimes people is like, just put your hands on your heart. And sometimes they can't feel. And it's like, it's okay. Just get used to feeling that. Just put your hands on your heart. Thank you. Or even think of the most, the person that you really truly love or the pet that you love. Thank you. I was like, that's gratitude. And gratitude is like blessings. And the more you show gratitude and blessings, the more it comes back to you. And isn't that just wonderful? Because then you can manifest anything in your life.
Absolutely.
Anything. And that's when you start creating, truly, you know what you want and what you don't want. It's going to create more inner peace within our body. And the more inner peace we have, people around you are going to be inspired. You don't have to change people, but the more you change, you become inspired. Peace is within you, the calm, the tranquility, the gratitude, the thankfulness, the love. Because you're doing that for yourself, people around you start becoming inspired.
And
Some
you're
will,
less
some.
stressed. If you have inner
Yes.
peace, you can't be stressed. You can't
Yeah.
hold both of those.
No. No, exactly. It's a contradiction, isn't it? And you start to learn that life starts to flow easier as well.
Can you
Gratitude is one of the most, it's just the most beautiful expression, the most heartfelt thing that anyone can do on this planet. And we need to start with the politicians and everyone and everywhere. There's no need for there to be poverty or wars on this planet. There really is no need.
Absolutely. But let's talk about gratitude for a second, because
Mm,
I'd say a lot of people don't have gratitude. And I'm not saying that from a place of judgment. I'm saying it from a place of observation.
I
So
totally agree.
why do you think we have trouble with gratitude? What do you think stops us from being thankful for what we have instead of being like, I want more, 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 more?
The ego, resistance to feeling gratitude. Yeah. Resistance is the heart again, the disconnection, internalizing, denying oneself, and running the programs of emotions that override it to not succeed in life. And one of the questions I do ask is, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? What would you do if you were successful?
Yeah.
How would you feel? Would you truly feel ungrateful?
I would hope not, but you know what? You mentioned politicians. I see some of these politicians, and that's when so this is a perfect example. So I see a politician, I want to throw up. How do I get in gratitude for a politician that makes me crankier? How do I get in gratitude for anything when I'm like, you know what? I'm not feeling you. It's not good. What should I do?
Just keep sending infinite love and gratitude. Infinite love and gratitude. Infinite love and gratitude. Infinite love and gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel the emotion that you're feeling. And even though you're frustrated and annoyed, it's okay, Julie. It really is okay to feel those. You have a right to and emotions. We obviously don't want it to go into a cascade of chemical reactions into negative emotions because they get stuck in the body, and that manifests into stress and diseases and dysfunctions. But honor it. And that's why saying thank you and saying infinite love and gratitude makes it okay. Yeah?
And that's
It's
easy. Anyone can do that.
Anyone can do that. Anyone can do that. And I just guide people through a few sessions just so they get used to it. They really do get used to it. And they love it. They absolutely love it. It's phenomenal. And it helps so much with everything that I'm doing, not just professionally, but personally, in my own goals and even others, children and teenagers and adults. They come to me with their business problems and so forth, and not just symptoms. It's like, okay, it encompasses a lot, and it's about thriving in life.
Can you give us some examples of people who've come to you? And I know that you're holistic, read at the well, but you read at the beginning. I mean, you've done a lot. I mean, you really have a
Yes.
lot of tools in your
Yeah.
toolbox. But
Mhm.
can you maybe give some examples of what people came to you for and using Lifeline technique helped them? Like maybe they had, I don't know,
A
insomnia,
big
but maybe
thing
some
is
concrete examples.
a big thing is chronic fatigue syndrome,
Let's
ME.
talk about that. I want to talk. Tell me, I think,
The tiredness, the fatigue, big, and they have several other symptoms associated with it. Um, the fatigueness, the frustration. Individual clients have come with various different scenarios with relationships, personal relationships, husband-wife relationships, family relationships, business relationships as well. Yeah, that's a big one. The other big thing is irritable bowel, the gut. Yeah, the gut is very important. That's our core stability. The gut is our solar plexus. That's about how we value ourselves, our self-esteem. Many clients have issues with that. So I empower them to harmonize that so they can start moving with life, because we're not really, from the day we're born, we're not really empowered. Doesn't matter what race we are, we're not empowered that you're wonderful.
right, it's true, yeah.
It's like you're doomed, and it's not the truth. We're still here. We're still creating miracles. The miraculous creation of conception and birth. Women, I treat a lot of pregnant ladies and children and babies. I do infinite love and gratitude with most of them, and the babies love it.
Well,
They get
that's
it.
where they came from. So that's like,
They just love it. They yeah, it really just sings.
could you also talk a little bit? Now that's interesting because I wouldn't have related until you just told me about the gut. I mean, I knew that like the gut's the center of power, but related to self-esteem. And I know everything is individualized, but as a kind of generalization, what's going on with chronic fatigue? Because I seem to be reading that more and more people are coming,
Yeah.
having that. So what's it related to?
Chronic fatigue is never it's just a label. I find that there's usually other things going on. It's never the chronic fatigue. It's never the ME. There's toxicity in the body, usually. Not eating the right foods, that having the correct diet. There's definitely toxicity in the body, and there's emotion, and then the emotional stress involved with that as well. So I'm working harmonized with the physical body, with giving them the appropriate homeopathics if need be, and most of the time, most people want Lifeline because they see it around the office, and I have lots of referrals. So chronic fatigue is the fatigue and tiredness of how they feel. And they know they're not functioning, but I always find it's never the actual label. It's something else underlying that the body is saying, yeah, and other things come up. There's usually achiness within the body, usually everywhere. So a lot of fibromyalgia patients. There's a lot of cross, with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, and a whole other manifestation of other symptoms and stresses that comes up. So and then the emotions come up individually, which I guide them through. And I just love it because I understand with the incident that happened with me, but also that it does get into a vicious cycle when you don't feel great. You don't want to go to work because you don't like the people or, family. the symptoms start happening. We hold on to baggage and emotions. It's all about emotions at the end of the day. And if people don't find the right strategies and tools to deal with the emotions, symptoms are going to appear, if not now, later on in life, and they will manifest and manifest.
Well, because I asked, because I have a friend that has chronic fatigue. She's got fibromyalgia. She also has Sjogren's, which is a form of lupus, and then
Yes. Yeah.
your eyes and your mouth dry out. And
I've
so
had, yeah,
as you're
many.
talking, and she's, bless her heart, I mean, has tried to find,
Hmm.
something to do this. But so for something like that, until she deals with the underlying issue, because, it's been my observation, then this is added, then this happens. And is that what the body does? It's like if we don't heal this, we're just going to bring in more of because all her diseases are kind of related.
Yes, they are. And really, the body's just having a conversation with you, and it's saying, "Hello, I'm doing my best. I'm healing." The body is always, always healing. The human body has this innate ability. It is always healing you. The symptoms are just saying, "Hello, this is a gift. You need to start listening. You need to get help. I'm doing my best, but you need to get the right help here. You need to eat properly. You need to have daily movement. You need to have quality sleep. You need to have a healthy spine and nervous system." The nervous system is, the spinal cord is the true essence of the tuning fork of creation. It controls everything in the body and the mind.
Interesting. Now, how does the spine play into the lifeline technique?
The spine, oh well, I always check the spine because if there's any interference going on with the spine, that's going to inhibit function of the nervous system. And if the nervous system isn't functioning, which controls everything in the body and the mind, that's going to cause problems as well. Yeah. Each level of your vertebral column is related to an anatomical region, and if that spine is out of alignment and causing nerve interference, that's if symptoms aren't going to be just physical, it could manifest into other things later on, or chronic fatigue and so forth like that.
So you talked a moment ago about when a disease is happening, that's the body having a conversation with you. So I talked earlier at the beginning about my little thought for the day about listening and trusting the wisdom
Yes.
from within. So how do we learn to trust our bodies, and what are some of the things that our body might be having this conversation and we don't view it as a conversation? Oh, this is annoying, I have this. What would be some examples of maybe the body's communicating with us and we don't know, we don't understand?
Um, well, any symptom, whether it's pain or stress, it's learning to understand. Well, it's just learning to feel it, yeah, and not to resist it and judge it and criticize and blame it. And when you go from there, you can seek help. It's really quite simple for me, but it's seeking. If you really want to seek, if you really want to be healthy, you will seek it. And I think the most important thing is to be open and willing to be healthy. Yeah, and I think most people do. I know well, all my clients, they come to me because they want to be healthy, and I can understand. But it is the most important thing is to listen to your emotions, listen to the symptoms, and not to judge them, because they're just there to say, "Hello, I'm trying to do my best. You need help here." Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all it is.
All right. Now, Joey, my cat, wants to know, can the lifeline technique help animals?
Yes, it can.
So,
Definitely. The lifeline technique, I don't need to know any content about what's going on to the person, really. It can be content free, but people talk, and that's okay. But people, talk about their stories, and that's fine because they need to express, they need to share what's, their details of the stressful, painful experiences that they're having, which is fine. But as I guide them through the technique, because it takes us through different modules, I find other scenarios and which they hadn't even told me about. So I find other causes, which I talk about and find, because we work also with the chakras. We hold our belief systems in there. And, that's energy, and that's all we are. Everything's energy. Energy is, and emotion is energy in movement. So we're transforming that energy to create health.
Absolutely. Now, what you had mentioned earlier, and I don't know if you might not know all of them off the top of your head, but if you can briefly talk about it, and I might use the wrong one, that there are 14 different, is it components to the Lifeline technique?
It uses 14 different modalities, yeah.
Modalities, that's it. So
Yeah.
that does that mean like, do you mean like muscle testing, affirmations,
Yes.
that type of thing?
Affirmations,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Color
Okay.
therapy, we use color therapy glasses, we use smell sensation, and there's parts of neurolinguistics involved with there. There are, yeah, it's a different language, but it's a beautiful language because the connection people make, because they're not used to hearing those words. And it's not just about the words infinite love and gratitude, but it's expressed in a very clear, simplistic way. And I keep breaking it down even simpler and simpler because I love language, and the more clearer you are, the easier it is for people to understand, and then it's easy for them to start living the lives that they want, healthy, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
So then so it might be if someone's working with you, say like chronic fatigue, because you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
that there are several layers to that. So they might come to see you one week and you tackle whatever and get down to that, and then they come in the next week and you tackle something else. Because I would think with, if we've done, whatever to the body for 40 years, I mean, I think you can definitely heal like that, but I also think sometimes
Yes.
it it needs time, and to have a shift or a paradigm shift in
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
thinking
yeah.
or your belief system. For some
Mm-hmm.
people, that's not going to happen like that.
No, no, it isn't. And some people, it is just peeling the layers off one by one. So I give them, I don't call it homework, I call it fun work with the specific intentions that I've guided them with. The important key is to focus on where we're going with health, with everything in life. If you focus on what you don't want, it grows. What you focus on always grows. That is key. So the key is focus on where we're going, what we don't want. A lot of people are, I don't want these symptoms, I don't want these relationships. That's not what we want. So I guide them to focus on where they want to go, because we have a menu of infinite possibilities.
And
Yeah,
we forget that. Yeah.
we forget that. When we forget, we don't make a choice, and we have a choice: health or no health.
We have a choice of every single moment. I
We
say
have
that a lot because
exactly. Yeah.
when people say I don't have a choice, and that's not true, doing nothing is a choice.
Yes, yes, as long as
But
you're
it's
happy.
Yes, yeah, but it's true. Like someone said to me, I had a guest, gosh, like a couple years ago, and he was saying something, well, they can't do that. And I said, no, no, hold up. And I said, they have a choice if they don't have a computer to go to the library and get a card and to use a computer. You can always find excuses, but just own that that you're not making the choice to do what you want. That's my only point.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it is a choice. And a lot of the time, when I guide them through the lifeline technique, it's one of the processes. It's we do forget. We do forget to choose joy, happiness. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a
to feel
list that
bliss,
that I can see from
to
here that
feel
says,
peace, calm.
yes,
And when we forget, we don't make the choice. But then when you recognize you've forgotten, you make an action conscious step
yes,
to say, I am joy. I am health.
yes. And to do things that help raise your vibration to get to
Vibrate.
that
It's all
if you can.
vibration. It's all
Yeah.
about frequency. All emotions have frequency and vibration. And it is about raising that vibration, not in a superior way and not in a judgmental way, but so that you can really have the life that you want, without those symptoms and without the emotional stressors. But life is always, there are going to be challenges in life. Yeah. There is going to be pain. There is going to be stress, but we need to have strategies and tools to deal with that so that we don't get stuck in those emotions, holding them as emotional baggage. So it turns into a trait or a mood and then into a personality, causing all these cascades of emotional reactions in our body that causes diseases and dysfunctions. Yeah? Because of something that happened in an environment that you believed, because that's the environment that you were brought up in, it will give a lens of misperception. But people were just doing the best that they could do. And it's just transforming that to healthier, positive.
Now let's talk a moment about because I think you are right to not judge emotion, that we shouldn't see something as bad and good. So love and gratitude, I'm going to assume, are the highest vibration. Is there a hierarchy, like is hate and anger the lowest, and then like depression's just above that? Is it a scale like that, or is it just
Yes,
greatness and not greatness?
there is a scale. Yes, there is a scale. I have seen it somewhere. I think, was it Dr. Hawkins did that? There's apathy, depression, anger, and so forth. There is this scale, and there was also muscle testing attributes associated with that. But I read that, and then I was like, do you know what? There's no point even judging it. What's the point of saying that because again, people judge it as it's really bad. I shouldn't feel apathy. I shouldn't feel frustrated. I shouldn't feel depressed. It's okay. We're human. That's why we're on this planet. This is the planet of emotions, and we're here to learn, to grow. And the most important thing we're here to do is to love ourselves. Because the more we love ourselves with our hearts, the more open we are, the more unconditional love we have for ourselves, the more we get out of life, the more we can, our antennae will broadcast that signal, yeah, with that frequency. And it will, connect with other people with that frequency as well.
I would think I love that when you woke up and half your body was paralyzed. You started with love and gratitude because that
I
would be
did,
really
yeah.
hard.
I
But I'm
literally,
thinking,
yeah.
but I would think would another question for people to ask be like, okay, what are you here to teach me? Or what can I learn? Or something like that. Like, what are you trying to say to me that, again, to help shift our thinking into not seeing it as something bad, but like, okay, this is an opportunity.
It's an opportunity to live life with joy and fun. What is the point otherwise? That's why we're here. Yeah, to connect with people. Like we are here, and to share and grow together and love. That's what it's about. And isn't it amazing that you can heal? I think it's our body, there's nothing wrong with our bodies. There's nothing wrong with us. And it's okay, to have your blips of moments, but we can truly heal. It doesn't matter if it takes a second. It doesn't matter if it takes 5 years, 10 years, as long as you're making progress.
Is there an exercise that you could lead us in that maybe you found that to work with your patients that helps them? I mean, I love this about the
The
doing the
infinite
right
love and
signal.
gratitude.
Yeah, but if you're like a visualization or something, maybe that you lead your patients in or that Lifeline taught you that might be helpful, like they could sit down and do 5 minutes every day to start moving forward.
Even, yeah, if there's an intention or so for something that's really great to do, is just have that hand mudra onto your heart. Face yourself in the mirror, and even though whatever the stressful situation is, look at yourself in the mirror and say, infinite love and gratitude, 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 infinite love and gratitude.
Now, why do you say to look in the mirror and do that? And I love
It's
putting it on your
important to
heart.
look in the eye, look into your own eyes, your soul, your expressions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to yourself. It's really important to say thank you to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I've changed it a little bit. I've changed infinite love and gratitude to infinite cosmic love and gratitude.
Dude.
And that works really fast.
But hey, you know what? I'm anything that can move me up, I'm willing to do.
Yeah, and I find it very powerful. Some people, and I'm surprised because a lot of my patients actually they do actually do it. I was like, wow, and I can tell they come weekly, and I'm like, and they're ready for the next step to peel off the next layer, which is, that's what it's all about. And I get it. I was like, sometimes I know you're going to look at yourself and you're going to cry. It's okay. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Even if it's just a minute, build it up.
But I
Build
think
it
so
up.
many of us don't love ourselves, and I think that that's a huge issue with our society. And
Yes,
like you said earlier, it's race, culture, it cut man, female, it cuts across all that.
yes, it does. It does. And it's really we need to teach the children to be kind and adults to be kind and compassionate towards ourselves because if we don't be compassionate towards ourselves, the walls build up, the heart is closed, and the thoughts can be quite violent and cold, and that's it's not really truly living life to the optimal success that you want it to. So it's learning to be compassionate to yourself and just being kind to yourself in a really gentle way, and just do it in baby steps, whatever it takes, even if it's just one time. Infinite love and gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's easy. You can do that from a
And to
hospital bed.
surround yourself and to surround yourself with gentle, kind people to help you at that time as well. I think it's really important because certain relationships can be quite harsh and not really constructive for people, but quite destructive.
I actually had I post all the interviews up to my YouTube channel, and I
Hmm.
had one where I said, if you're in a not good relationship, let them go. And someone got really upset with me, and we ended up having a
Yes.
comment after a while. And I said, everything is said without judgment, but I said I stand by what I said. If it's not a healthy relationship, it
Yeah.
doesn't karma aside, whatever, you have that choice to
Of
let that
course.
person go and love yourself
Yeah.
enough to
Hmm.
let them go. And when you let them go, then someone better will come into your life that
Sure.
that cares.
Yeah. It's a big thing. Letting go is very difficult for people. Letting go of a job that isn't functioning for them. Yeah.
Hmm.
Letting, because also in society, humans are led to believe you have to survive. Surviving is great. Yeah. It's okay. Thriving is better.
Yes,
Thriving is a
absolutely.
lot better. We're here to thrive. We're not just here to survive. We're not just here to pay the bills.
Right.
We can pay the bills.
Yes.
And one of my goals is that I want to be, I am blessed that I can pay for everything, but I also want to be blessed so I can bless others.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got great visions also. I want to set up orphanages. I don't know how that's going to happen. I've started my own clinic. I want to make it that there's a certain percentage which is going towards that to help children, orphanages, everyone in the world so they can start living life, so they can start understanding it's about thriving, not surviving.
I'm
And
with
that
you,
we're
thousand. Yeah.
blessed. We are blessed from the moment we are born. We are blessed with everything.
Yes. Yes. And that's awesome. I share your vision on that too. When I think of, you know, bringing abundance to myself, I'm like, how can I share it? And I'm trying to come up with different ways because it's kind of like that adage, feed a man a fish, you feed him for the day, teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime or whatever it is. But I want people, to have that, like you're talking about. I want them to bring that in their lives themselves. But I
Mhm.
want to help be the catalyst that starts that and
Of
give them the
course.
tools
Yeah.
that they can use and then they can share with others and to move forward and do that.
Exactly. And that was the most important thing for me is I had to walk my talk. That was important for me.
Hmm.
If I'm not walking my talk, how can I guide people? How can I do my job? It's not even a job. I love what I do. It's me. It's what we're here, what we're all about, and I need to share this with people so they can start thriving and living life. Yeah, and really enjoying it. It's not the humdrum of got to go to the 9 to 5 job. Got to go out for the sake of it. Got to for the sake of it. Life is about having fun
Tell us
with
brief,
integrity and honor.
Absolutely. Tell us briefly about the five basics of optimum health. of Lifeline because I really like this.
You exercise, you drink lots of water, you get good quality sleep, you own your power. Owning your power is integrous. It's important. It's something that's not been taught. Something I would love for it to be taught in all schools. I'd love Lifeline to be taught in all schools. Owning your power is, again, the gut. Valuing yourself. Valuing yourself as a person, as a child, as a human, as a woman, as a man.
Hmm.
Yeah. Owning your power, 100%, with infinite love and gratitude.
Because owning your power is completely different from having power over others or trying to have power over
Yes.
others.
No, no, no. It's only power comes when you're trying to have power over others. Well, yeah, owning your power is basically listening to yourself. Yeah. And
Hmm.
making the choices from within instead of relying on the external stimulation from the job, from the money, from relationships, and seeking that approval and validation from others, but
Hmm.
making that choice from within
Yeah.
with your heart. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
and it's so important that you're one of the few people, although I believe agree with you 1,000% on this. It's the heart where
yeah.
everything
It's
needs to
all
come from, and
yeah.
not the head. But we live in a place where it says put head over heart. But
Sure.
I have she's my inner world guide and my soul sister, and one of the first things she had me do, not in the your infinite love and gratitude symbol, but she'd be like, close your eyes, put your hand over your heart, and ask. And the first time I was like, I don't want to do this. I
Yes,
didn't
of
like because it was
course.
so uncomfortable because it was
Yeah.
so different
That
than what I'd ever done. But now that's what I do. I'm like, okay, when I have something, hand over heart, close eyes, what is it that I need to know? Because then I can shut down the ego and find out, okay, your heart will never mislead you.
the heart never misleads, and that's part of the lifeline as well. I do that as well. I do get people to connect with their heart, or even just to put their hands on their heart to tell me and it's feeling. And sometimes it's very difficult for them, so I find another process where I can guide them to try to connect, so that it's harmonizing because the subconscious and the emotions are overriding in the mind, and that's why they're not listening to the heart. So it's harmonizing that in balance so they can start listening to the heart, because it's people aren't used to it. They're
Hmm.
not used to listening to the heart because it's you've got to talk with a stiff upper lip and deal with things,
Right,
and it's
right.
just it's not working anymore. The planet, people are becoming more conscious, and
Hmm.
they want to make conscious choices, not subconscious reactive choices, because that's not leading them to where they really want to go. And that's again to do with focus.
Yeah, absolutely.
The heart is amazing, the most powerful muscle in the body.
I
You
learned
can
something
create and manifest anything from the heart.
I learned something the other day, and you as a chiropractor, and since you studied science and all that good stuff, that the heart has more. Oh, I wish I could remember it was not more power. They were doing some kind of measurement, but that your heart power, like from an energetic level, is much more expansive and much more uh, charged than your head. And I just found that fascinating.
Wow.
I don't think I'm using the proper words. If I said it right, you'd probably be like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." But I just thought that was interesting from a scientific, like, "Oh no, the brain's the most powerful." It's like, "No, the heart really is."
The heart is, and that was my mantra. I just, when I woke up, I just picked up my left hand, put it on my heart, and my mantra was literally, "Thank you, God, for healing me." That was all I thought and said. The deal was done.
And look where you are. You're,
And
went from
yeah, and
practicing today.
just
Now tell everyone where we're a little over. Well, let me see. Is there anything else that you would like to add that you haven't had a chance or that I've forgotten to ask about Lifeline technique or any of the good stuff you're doing? Okay.
if people want session, I do sessions. I do them one to one. obviously with my clients here, but because I live in the oil and gas industry city, I have a lot of clients that travel away, so I do sessions on Skype, which helps them. So
And tell
that's
people your website address and if you have
oh
any
yes.
classes, all that good stuff.
My website is drnimartapaulchiropractic.com. Everything is on there. It's evolving, the website. I'm working with it. I'm also writing articles for another couple of website companies, and I'll get all the blogs and everything organized on there. Bear with me. There will be that things are evolving, so eventually there will be a book at some point. I'm beginning to realize that.
Put it on the to-do list.
On the to-do list, yes. I'm recognizing that there's a lot of encouragement to that everything, the way I live and the way I eat and do things, that because it's helped me with where I've got to right now with my health. It's in your talk, so you can guide people, and people are doing it here anyway. So that will be written up as well, and there will be classes as well, which I'll be looking to, because organising some things here in Aberdeen, which I know will spread without a doubt.
And yeah, you're our first guest from Scotland. We're thrilled to have you on, and
In Aberdeen.
in Aberdeen
All
of
the
all
way to
places. Yeah,
Scotland.
so it's all good. It's all very good. And I want to thank you for today. This is really enlightening. Again, it's Dr. Nimarta Paul, chiropractic.com. It's also on our Reawaken Your Brilliance website, and you can click on it and go straight to her website. And this was enlightening. I learned a lot, and look forward to future conversations. And I want to thank you.
Thank you.
And thank everyone for tuning in, and get out there and reawaken your brilliance. This should be an affirmation that we have all these wonderful gifts of yours that you need to share with everyone. So get out there and reawaken your brilliance, and we'll see you here next week, everyone. Bye now.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, and if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.